Well, it's a very warm welcome back to second half independent off-tube studio commentary. The game at Santiago Bernabeu has just resumed for the start of the second half, where Real Madrid and Arsenal are goalless, and it's still 3-0 to Arsenal on aggregate. In case you missed the first half, Arsenal were given a penalty after a very late VAR check, and a terrible penalty from Bukayo Saka, just a little sort of half Panenka, if you like, which was saved by Courtois. Madrid were then given a penalty after a foul from Declan Rice on Kylian Mbappe, but after a long VAR check, we initially thought there was the penalty was ruled out because of an offside. It actually has been confirmed at half-time that it was because of the fact that there was no foul from Rice on Mbappe. There was a bit more possession for Madrid towards the end of the half, but still not too many saves for David Raya to make, so they need to improve in the second half as Madrid tries to get forward here early on in the second half. William Saliba there just holding on to Mbappe. The free kick's been taken quickly, and here is Rodrigo now pushing down the right-hand side. He's got support here from Lucas Vazquez, and there's an overlap here from Vinny Jr. as he tries to put the ball in. He's being marked by Kivior. It goes back towards Vazquez. He lifts the ball into the box. Tchouameni is there. It just headed away, and Alaba will try and recycle it for Madrid. It's myself, Paul Szczerbakowicz, and Luke Ashurst taking you through the action in this second half. And Luke, the first half didn't see many goals, but it was a fascinating one. It didn't see any goals, but it was a fascinating one.
Oh, it was a brilliant watch in that first 45 from a neutral's point of view. I can't imagine it was great for Arsenal or Real Madrid fans. It'll have been very nervy for the Gunners, and it will have been very frustrating for Los Blancos. But that's kind of how we expected it to go. We maybe expected to see more clear-cut opportunities for potentially even both these two sides. But we saw a missed penalty. We saw a potential penalty correctly not given by VAR. It's thrilling first half. I think the second will follow suit, to be totally honest.
Absolutely, but certainly hope so. Just say very quickly that Harry Kane has scored for Bayern, and they now go further ahead against Inter. As here come Madrid now down the right-hand side. It's Rodrigo trying to fire a ball into the box. Takes a big deflection, and it's now out for a corner kick to Real on the right-hand side. As soon as we see this corner kick out, I'll just remind you of the 2-11s. Haven't been any changes at half-time, but it's going to be a corner kick now to Madrid from the right-hand side. David Raya trying to organise his defenders. It's David Alaba waiting to take it. The linesman just stopping him from doing it for the time being, as referees like to do a bit of housekeeping inside the box, make sure not too many players are pushing and shoving. They're going to carry on doing it as soon as the referee walks away. But it's going to be whipped in now by Alaba from the right-hand side. It's a high ball into the box, which is flicked away by Saka. Actually eluded all the Madrid players that are waiting in the middle, and it's back on the halfway line. Yeah,
good defending once again from Arsenal. They know what they're doing from set pieces, don't they? They're well drilled in it. They know how to defend them. They know how to score from them. It's just a case of doing that over and over again for this second 45. The first 45 we saw a couple of counter-attacks from Arsenal. If we see more than two, I'd be very, very shocked. I think it is going to be very much the Gunners inside their own half, defending for 45 minutes.
Well, that's what Mikel Arteta will be hoping that his players can avoid, but it may be unavoidable just with the Madrid putting that much pressure on them, as Mbappe now and Rodrigo swap passes here down the right-hand side. There's an overlap as well if they want to use it, but it's Mbappe trying to take everyone on himself. Then he rolls it out towards the right-hand side here for Vazquez. Back to Mbappe. Vazquez goes all the way to the line, but Mbappe holds the ball onto himself. It's a cross which flicks back off Mbappe, and it's away for a goal kick. Just to remind you, Thibaut Courtois in goal for Real Madrid. A back four of Lucas Vazquez, Raul Asensio, Antonio Rudiger and David Alaba. Then the three in midfield, Federico Valverde, Aurelien Tchouameni and Jude Bellingham, with Rodrigo, Vinicius Jr. and Kylian Mbappe as the attacking three for Arsenal. David Raya in goal. Back four of Jurrien Timber, William Saliba, Jakub Kivior and Miles Lewis-Skelly. Three in midfield, Martin Odegaard, Thomas Partey and Declan Rice, with Bukayo Saka, Gabriel Martinelli and Mikel Merino as the attacking three for Mikel Arteta's side. But as Luke has already mentioned, how much attacking those three are actually going to do in the second half remains to be seen. It may well be they're just going to have to come back as additional midfielders.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think what we've seen from this second half already is that, Mikel Merino is going to put pressure on the centre halves, but it is actually going to be when Arsenal are inside their own half, Martinelli will just linger on the halfway line, and both Saka and Merino, are going to come back and help crowd out that midfield. I think the biggest thing for Arsenal is, yes, obviously defend as well as they did in that first half, because they were excellent in that first half, but give Real Madrid that extra thing to think about on the counter-attack. They've been so poor in possession of Arsenal when they've had the opportunity to come forward that Real Madrid have been able to commit bodies forward, and it's not been an issue for them. They've not been worried. They've just been able to go forward and do it. In this second half, make them think twice about how many people they can throw forward, as Bellingham gives away a daft foul trying to win the ball back off of Partey.
He does. I mean, he's very frustrated there, Jude Bellingham. I'm not really sure who with. Is it with his teammates? Is it with himself? Because at the end of the day, if someone did that to him, he'd be expecting a free kick all day long. But it may well be that he's just a bit frustrated with how the second half has just sort of turned in the last minute or so, because Madrid really were on it in the first 5 minutes. But now as we just tick past the first 5 minutes, Arsenal have won themselves a free kick in an attacking position. And all of a sudden they can try and put pressure on the Madrid defence. It's left-footed Odegaard and right-footed Rice standing over this one. It's about 40 yards out on the right-hand side. It's Rice's ball in. It's headed over the bar in the end by Mikel Merino, who slams the turf in frustration. It may well be he saw that ball coming in and thought he could do a bit more with it.
Yeah, I'm not sure he could have done that. It wasn't Declan Rice's best ball in. I think, to be honest, Arsenal may well have been better playing that short, potentially down the line, create themselves a better angle to get the ball into the penalty area. In the end, it was a pretty poor one into the box from the opportunity, and Real Madrid can deal with it relatively easily.
They do, yeah, they dealt with that in the end as possession in this game, 67% to roll, as a strong challenge coming in there. And so that's a little bit of frustration there. Declan Rice a bit unhappy there with Jude Bellingham. You see a couple of the people on the Arsenal bench just getting up, a little bit unhappy with that one as Rice was trying to turn. I mean, the ball was there for Bellingham to be won, but considering how vocal he is, again, someone does that to him, he wouldn't be happy.
No, he wouldn't. Obviously, both England teammates, they both know each other very, very well. Bellingham knows exactly what he's doing there. He knows he can win the ball back without needing to go sliding in. He's just leaving that extra one on Declan Rice. What's the referee given here? Is that a foul throw?
I think it's a foul throw.
We should not be seeing foul throws at this level of football. I always say you shouldn't be seeing foul throws past the age of under 8s. Never mind quarterfinals of the Champions League at Santiago Bernabeu. That is appalling.
Absolutely. I mean, it's not. It really is the simplest thing. But you actually see more foul throws than what are given by the officials. I think sometimes they sort of they either miss them or they just don't quite see that the player hasn't put the ball properly behind his. He's thrown with two hands, etc. But it's going to be a throw on to Arsenal now down the right hand side, and Timber's got a chance to prove he can take a throw on, which he does this time. It's over the head of Merino, headed forward now by Rudiger, but then it's headed forward toward Odegaard, and the flag stays down for the time being. Odegaard just going into a bit of a cul-de-sac here, and eventually there is a flag going up against the Norwegian. So it will be a free kick to Real just at the edge of their own penalty area. Inter have got an equaliser against Bayern, so it's getting interesting in that other tie. Bayern are now 3-2 up on aggregate, having won the first leg 2-1, so Inter with half an hour to play in that one. They're about 6 or 7 minutes ahead of us, obviously, with the additional time that we had in the first half. So there's still game on in that one.
Yeah, it certainly is. I believe, in fact, it's actually Inter that are ahead, because I believe they won the first leg 2-1 in Bavaria, if I'm not wrong. But we'll break off because forward comes Bellingham.
Bellingham does come into the box, and he's hitting the deck. It's going to be given as a corner kick here to Real after all of that, as the ball is played from Vasquez down the right-hand side. And as he played that ball in, Bellingham just about, there's enough of the ball there from Declan Rice to make sure that he can put that out for a corner without risking giving away a penalty. So now a corner kick into Madrid on the right-hand side. It's in towards Mbappe. His header is wide and over the bar. Yeah,
another good opportunity for Real Madrid. Goes a begging. Credit to Jude Bellingham there. He was brought down, he won the corner, and there was no complaints. Just think, you better put in Mbappe, you better headers of the ball in slightly more dangerous areas. There's no point whipping in crosses to the near post. Arsenal will let you have those all day long. You've got to put it in the danger area and test those centre-halves.
You do, and that's what Arsenal haven't really been tested as much as I'm sure Arteta and his players were expecting. Bukayo Saka doing really well just to hold off the challenge of Alaba. Then he plays it square to Declan Rice, and suddenly it opens up here for Arsenal for Martinelli, who breaks in down the left-hand side, just overruns that slightly as he tries to hold on to it at the edge of the area. He plays it back towards just towards Miles Lewis-Skelly there. No option for a cross-in for Lewis-Skelly, so it's back towards Martinelli. Left-hand edge of the penalty area, just been marked here by Vasquez. He's got Saka, Merino and Odegaard in the box if he can find them. He's trying to take on Vasquez all by himself. Rice is there for the short ball as well, but Rodrigo is back to cover. Rice in the end is used there just to get that ball back towards Miles Lewis-Skelly. And eventually Arsenal, out of their own free will, if you like, have gone back into their own half. And that's a terrible ball. I didn't quite see from our camera angle here that David Raya was actually approaching to get on the end of that for a second. Then it looked like there was a pass played there by Kivior to an invisible player. But Arsenal now move forward down the right, and there's a bit of space here for Odegaard down the right-hand side. He's got an overlap from Saka, just prefers to go back into the middle now, plays it in towards Thomas Partey. He then plays it square to Lewis Skelly. This is the longest spell of possession that Arsenal have had in the second half. They need more of this if they want to frustrate Madrid, as here comes Martinelli now into the box from the left-hand side. Just overruns that slightly, then leaves a foot in potentially. Referee allows an advantage to go on because there's a chance here for Madrid to go on the counter. And it does reach Vinicius Jr. He needs to try and play it in towards Mbappe. That's a fantastic challenge from Kivior, I believe it was, to try and keep that ball away. But Madrid still have a chance here with Vinicius Jr., whose strike is a tame effort in the end, and it's into David Raya, in to take a 2-1 lead against Bayern. So as it stands now, Bayern are on the verge of going out.
Yeah, they're in big trouble now at the side from Bavaria. It's now, 4-2 on aggregate, I believe. That's not good at all. They needed to avoid going behind in that one. I have to say, focusing on our game, Real Madrid, this is not a Madrid side that I've seen over the last 10 years. It's not. They look a shadow of the team that we've seen in years gone by, a team that have beaten Liverpool, who have beaten Manchester City, who have beaten Chelsea. They just look so poor, and Bellingham is going to be... Surely that's a yellow card.
Got to be a yellow
that has
card.
got to be a yellow card. He's a perfect example of it. Bellingham just looks completely disinterested. I can't believe he's just high-fived the referee and gotten away with the yellow card there.
Yeah, I mean, it's, as I say, what frustrates me about Bellingham is that he gets very, very upset when anyone dares to do anything like that to him. He's immediately very sort of, gets very aggressive, but it's okay for him to do it. As I say, the referee with an expression of like, come on, don't lose your head, just calm down. And then Bellingham's, no worries, ref, and as you said, he high-fives him, and then referee allows play to go on. But Bellingham really is testing the patience of the referee here, as here come Madrid with Mbappe just around 25 yards out. Had no option to go into the box. Hit back into midfield now to Gimenez, finding Vinicius Jr. on the left-hand side. He tries to fire an early ball in, which is well-marshalled by Timber, and it's out for a corner. I agree with what you're saying about Madrid. There just doesn't seem to be as many plan Bs, Cs and Ds as you'd normally expect. There's normally so much variety from Real Madrid, and Dani Ceballos getting ready to come on. How that's going to change, we'll wait and see. But the ball is now played in. It's right underneath the crossbar there, and Raya having to scramble to make sure that corner kick doesn't go straight into the net.
I think they're closer to... This Real Madrid side is as close to the original Galacticos as you can really get. And I feel like that's the issue. I'll carry my point once the corner swung in. Again, it's a poor one towards the near post. Easily cleared away by Marino.
It is. It's going to drop here to Lucas Vazquez, who wants to go for a strike from 25 yards out. There's too many players in the way. Mbappe then just marshalling that one to get it away from Saliba, making sure it goes out for a throw to Madrid. But it's played all the way back towards Valverde, and then it's played back to Raul Asensio. It's very nearly cut out by Odegaard, but that forces Asensio just to send a looping ball up in the air and out for a goal kick to Arsenal, which is a sort of giveaway of possession that Arsenal will take all day long.
Yeah, it certainly is. Back to my original point, because this team is so similar to the Galacticos of old, which... as it famously did not win the Champions League, and I almost feel like there's a reason why. I'll break up because Saka's in behind here.
Yes, Saka. Oh, we just couldn't get that first touch that he wanted to really carry on his run. He's going to get a corner kick, which is a small consolation prize, really. Raul Asensio turning to the crowd to celebrate a challenge like a goal, which is something that modern defenders like to do these days. But just that one touch from Saka, it may well be that he just wanted it. If he had more of a right foot, I think he had more of a chance of using that there.
Yeah, absolutely. But it is great defending from Raul Asensio. They need more players. It sounds daft because I didn't think Raul Asensio played well in the first half. They need more players like him, like Lucas Vazquez and like Federico Valverde, who are game smart. Mbappe will run in behind. He will beat a player. But he can't. He's not clever. He's not he's not a Luka Modric, who yes is a phenomenal player, won a Ballon d'Or, but he's clever in that sense. Ball swinging from Saka isn't a good one, straight into the hands of Courtois. I think this is why we're seeing the introduction of Dani Ceballos sooner rather than later. We can see him stripped off, ready to come on. They need clever players. As forward comes Valverde.
What a great run it was from Valverde. Ran about half of the pitch there as eventually the ball is cut out, and then Partey just using his body to just shield that ball away from Valverde. And Arsenal now have it back here in midfield. Madrid have got a triple change waiting to come on. Dani Ceballos, Fran Garcia and Endrick are all getting ready to come on now for Ancelotti's side. So it's just a case of, I'd imagine that Alaba will go off for Fran Garcia. That seems like a like-for-like swap. As far as Dani Ceballos, it'll be one of the midfield three, potentially Tchouaméni might to get the hook. And we'll wait and see as to who Endrick is going to be coming on for. But there's an Arsenal player down in an attacking position. It's Miles Lewis-Skelly who seems to be in a bit of trouble. Now, Madrid aren't going to be happy about this because the referee has stopped play, despite the fact there's clearly not a head injury here. But the referee decided that there's enough of an injury that he wants to stop play anyway.
Yeah, I'm intrigued to know what's happened here because straight away there was a reaction from Lewis-Skelly. There's nothing wrong with him, is there? He's straight away looked up to the referee. We'll see a replay now. What could have potentially happened? Ooh. I mean, he did. If to be fair to him, there was actually something that happened. His initial reaction when the referee walked over was, "Well, nothing's happened. I'm seeing whether you're going to give me a free kick or not." There was, but in defence of Antonio Rudiger, he's ended up standing on Lewis Skelly. Just because he's in the motion of running. That is simply what's happened. It's not intentional at all.
It's not intentional, but it certainly would have been painful. So, triple change here now. Rodrigo, Lucas Vazquez and David Alaba are the ones to go off. And coming on is Dani Ceballos, Fran Garcia and Endrick. So, Endrick will slip in. I'm assuming, will Endrick go into midfield and Valverde drop into the right position? Wait and see for that. But certainly as far as... Alaba will be replaced by Fran Garcia. That's pretty much like for like. And Ceballos goes into Rodrigo's position.
Yeah, I don't know. I think Endrick probably goes out wide. I don't know. I think this is maybe Ancelotti looking at his bench and going, okay, I've built up Ceballos all week. I'm not particularly happy with what I'm getting from my full-back, so I'm going to bring on Fran Garcia and Endrick. He's got a bit of pace to run in behind. I don't know. We'll just have to wait to see the positions of them on the pitch. But, I don't know. That doesn't scream desperation from Ancelotti. I just think if I'm going to bring on anybody, I'd have been looking towards Brahim Diaz and Arda Güler rather than Fran Garcia, to be totally honest.
I completely agree. As I say, Endrick, Dani Ceballos and Fran Garcia, they're not three names that sort of scream off the page as being players that are going to suddenly change the game, considering who Madrid already had out there anyway. So, it's an interesting one, that from Ancelotti. But, it certainly makes this last half an hour, just under half an hour, to play fascinating, as we can see. Ball possession in the game, 60-40 in favour of Madrid. Completed passes, 251 from Madrid, 125 from Arsenal. It's pretty much bang on twice as many. So it just goes to show. But now Madrid have lost the ball inside their own half, and it's a chance here for Odegaard, who's not having a particularly good game. No. Didn't want to turn and to go in towards the Madrid penalty, just playing it back towards the halfway line here for Lewis Skelly. Now it's with Martinelli, just dances away from Rodrigo, before playing it back in towards his own half now. Under pressure there was Kivior playing it back to David Raya, as Saliba's got two Madrid players around him, but he gets away. That's a terrible touch, though, from Jurrien Timber. I mean, he tried to control it, played the ball 10 yards ahead of him. He then treads on Jude Bellingham, giving away the free kick, which probably isn't the worst thing, because it just slows Madrid down a touch. But they played it square now. It's over on the right-hand side here with Federico Valverde. Looks like he has moved over onto the right here with Endrick, just in a slightly... more for forward role, and Ceballos is sort of staying in that midfield role as Fran Garcia moves in towards the left-hand side now, heading towards the edge of the penalty area. Just in front of him is Bukayo Saka. He plays it back towards Valverde. Now it's in with Bellingham. Bellingham's ball into the box is not a good one. And I've noticed this with Bellingham. I don't see enough Madrid games to say this over a 40 or 50 game stretch, but certainly in the Madrid games I've seen and in the England games I've seen, Bellingham is either absolutely fantastic or it can just be a little bit ordinary. There doesn't seem to be a sort of 7.5 out of 10 with him, I've noticed.
Well, I think the issue he's got, I think if we're certainly looking at this game, is for England, he never has a double pivot behind him. For Real Madrid, on occasions he does, because he has Tchouaméni and Camavinga who will do the defensive work behind him. I'm not sitting here and saying that Jude Bellingham cannot defend. That is absolutely not true. Can Jude Bellingham defend as part of a midfield three and play as a box-to-box midfielder? No. He has become an out-and-out number 10 in this Real Madrid side, and he cannot do that currently up against this Arsenal team. It is not working out for him. Like I said, I don't like the Real Madrid changes. I also don't like that from William Saliba.
No, he's given that away in a dangerous position, and the ball deflects after a ball from Endrick and is kept alive here by Valverde. Valverde's ball into Endrick is headed over the bar. But that all started, I think that starts with a poor throw out from David Raya, which then forces Partey into a quick ball, and then that in turn forces Saliba into a heavy touch, which is then given away.
Well, if I'm being totally honest, I think I'm baffled by the substitution of bringing on Endrick. Look, I don't mind if you're going to bring on Fran Garcia, change the legs a little bit, nullify the counter-attack of Bukayo Saka because David Alaba's getting a little bit tired. That's absolutely fine. Don't also mind bringing on Dani Ceballos, but I do not understand bringing on Endrick when you have Brahim Diaz and Arda Güler on the bench. He's not no disrespect to him, he is not good enough for this level as things that he's a very, very young player, clearly very talented, not ready for this stage.
No, he's been put into the deep end now, but Arsenal on the attack in the meantime, and it's played through towards Bukayo Saka, who's clipped the ball over Thibaut Courtois, and on 65 minutes, Arsenal have their goal, and it all comes from just a bit of slow build-up in midfield. It's threaded through towards Bukayo Saka, and there won't be an offside flag or a VAR to save Madrid on this occasion. It's Arsenal that take the lead here on the night. They've increased their aggregate lead now to 4-0. And you can see what this means for some of those Madrid fans that were just getting shots off now. They look absolutely devastated. And so did the Madrid players, in fairness. They knew they had to keep it at 0-0 to give themselves half a chance here. But Bukayo Saka with his fifth Champions League goal in 7 games this season. A massive goal. He looks up to those travelling Arsenal fans way up in the heavens here at the Bernabeu. But it all starts with just a long clearance from Raya. And initially it's just sent down the right-hand side. There may still be a check here to see if Saka was offside in the build-up. He takes it all the way into the corner, and then Madrid just don't deal with it once it's played back into the middle.
Yeah, I mean, if it's onside, this is game done and dusted, but I'm not sure if it is. Ultimately, the build-up play is brilliant from Arsenal, but the defending is woeful from Real Madrid. They have got absolutely no idea how to deal with this Arsenal side. That was the ball that I was worried about. The ball in from Marino to Bukayo Saka, I thought was going to be the offside there. He's not offside by the looks of things. It's that initial flick on which I think could prove to be an issue for the Gunners. Either way, I think this is done for Real Madrid. I really do. I came into this game and it is going to stand.
Yeah,
so the game is done and dusted. This tie is finished. I am very, very confident in saying that. I have to say, I was really worried for Arsenal coming into this one. I've seen Real Madrid dismantle my team on a number of occasions in Europe and completely batter. But Saliba gives it away. Oh, what's he done? The game was done and dusted. William Saliba has had an absolute shocker inside the penalty area. Vinicius Jr. just as quickly as Bukayo Saka had given Arsenal a 1-0 lead on the night, has equalised for Real Madrid.
What has happened here? I mean, it's still a long way back from Madrid, but all of a sudden that flat feeling at the Bernabeu has now been won back. Saliba, I mean, it's not...
What is he doing? What is he doing?
What is Saliba doing? But again, why is Raya throwing it to him when there are so many Madrid players around? Just get that ball a little bit further away from the box. Arsenal nearly got caught out a couple of minutes before they scored in a similar situation where Saliba gave it away after Partey had played the ball to him. But now we can see Vinny Jr. celebrating that one, but it's a quick celebration, taking that ball straight back towards the halfway line. So it's is it game on? Well, at 3-0 we said that Madrid still had a chance, so at 4-1 they surely must have a chance again.
Look, it's a spark, isn't it? It's a spark which I thought the penalty miss was going to be, as Lewis Skelly's been absolutely flattened there by Endrick. That is not what Real Madrid need at all. Look, at the end of the day, I thought the penalty save would be a spark. It proved not to be, so we discount that, okay? This goal could well prove to be that spark that Real Madrid need. Granted, am I confident that Arsenal will still go through for this position? Yes, to be totally honest with you, because Real Madrid have looked so poor in this game. They really have, as the referees are stopping this for some reason or another. What has been said here?
I think he's going to be calling the captains over here. He's unhappy about something here, Masuela Texier, so we'll wait and see exactly what his problem is, but he's calling over Martin Odegaard, and I think it's just the Arsenal captain he wants to speak to, in fact. He's unhappy about something here, the referee, but he's explaining to Odegaard potentially about time wasting, potentially about something else. It may well be he's pointing to David Raya saying, look, he can't take too long over goal kicks, because I can't think of any goalkeeper that's ever been sent off for 2 yellow cards for wasting time, but it may well be the referee's telling Odegaard, look, don't test that, because at some point I may have to be forced to give Raya a second yellow if he's taking too long.
Not seen anything like that for a long time from a referee. I really haven't. But going back to that Vinicius goal, I mean, you cannot do what William Saliba did at this level of football at the Santiago Bernabeu. It is absolute suicide inside your own penalty area. It really is. Credit to Vinicius Jr., who's been terrible all game, but he's done brilliantly well to win that back. Look, I'm so confident Arsenal will go through. I just think you don't give Real Madrid a spark, and they have done, as Partey gets away with that one there. I feel it'll be interesting to see from the replay, but yeah, I don't know. I just think Real Madrid have been so bad in this game. To come back from 3-0, well, from 4-0 down, yeah. It's going to be so difficult.
It will be difficult, and it would take a real capitulation, I think, from Arsenal as well, considering how average Madrid have been long spells. But Arsenal have taken this free kick short. It's now taken it towards Mikel Merino, playing it back towards Declan Rice. Things have just slowed down for Arsenal here as they've moved that ball into the Madrid half. Strong challenge there. That will be a free kick to Arsenal as well. And the referee just needs to keep an eye on these things. But we're over the halfway mark in the second half. It is Madrid 1, Arsenal 1. It's 4-1 to Arsenal on aggregate. It will be Luke to take us through to full time.
Yeah, cheers, Paul. It's tackles like that which are going to cost Real Madrid, you feel, in this one, because it just kills any momentum. That ball was there to be won from Valverde. I've not got a problem with him putting the tackle in. You do not slide in like that. Really, really poor. As it looks as though Bayern Munich have got an equaliser on the night, which means they're only 1 goal back on aggregate from Inter Milan. Goal scorer of the second goal, just in case you're wondering, was Eric Dyer, former Tottenham Hotspur man. So a huge moment in that second quarter-final this evening, but the focus remains on the game at the Bernabeu. 20 minutes left to go of normal time. Independent off-tube studio-based commentary. It's Real Madrid 1, Arsenal 1, but it's 4-1 to the Gunners on aggregate as Real Madrid win the ball back inside their own half. Throwing though given to the English side. Camera pans to Bukayo Saka, who I think you'd say that goal is going to be crucial probably come the end of this one, because it could prove to be what made the difference for Arsenal, because all of a sudden Real Madrid needed 4 goals inside, 25 minutes. So we'll see whether they can do it. They've already got one back, of course, courtesy of that William Saliba error. Ceballos thought he was fouled in the middle of the park. The referee said no, and forward come Arsenal. Declan Rice, the hero from the first leg, drives into the penalty area, brought down, penalty surely. Referee says no, and Rice doesn't appeal. So play will continue. There will be a question asked of VAR. My initial thought was he's been brought down, there's been no touch of the ball.
Well, the way in which the Arsenal players reacted or didn't react, I think, is quite crucial. I mean, unfortunately, the TV pictures we're getting are showing us an earlier challenge on Bukayo Saka. Now we're seeing the Rice challenge.
Doesn't he?
It's almost like Rice has kicked the ball into Tchouameni and then gone over. So I think it's the correct decision.
Yeah, great tackle in the end from the French midfielder. Have we seen another foul throw from an Arsenal player? This time I believe it was from Miles Lewis-Skelly. That, again, I can't excuse that, as it looks as though we're going to see the introduction of new Swansea City minority stakeholder, Luka Modric, coming on for Real Madrid. We'll wait to see who that is for sooner rather than later, but it is Los Blancos in possession at the minute. And having said that, Vinicius Junior's given the ball away looking for Fran Garcia, and now Arsenal will come forward. Timber trying to find Merino. That ball's been given away though, and it's all the way back at the feet of Thibaut Courtois. And now Raul Asensio will bring it forward for Real Madrid. I know there's still three goals in this one. I know it very much feels like Arsenal are on top, but I am on the edge of my seat, because you just feel that goal from Vinicius Junior is going to give Real Madrid the momentum as forward they come through midfield. Mbappe though gives the ball away, and now Arsenal can maybe come forward. Although has he fouled Declan Rice? Mbappe, he has. Again, Real Madrid unhappy. I have to say, credit to our French referee this evening. I think he's been fantastic.
He has. I mean, that decision there was a good decision. I mean, there was certainly a little bit of the way that Mbappe hit the deck. He was trying to suggest that maybe he was being fouled. Which I don't know why he's doing that, because it's just going to slow things down for his side anyway. But good play there from the good decision there from the referee, and it's good there from Rice, well, just to make sure that he can slow things down, draw that foul off Mbappe. And as I say, Luka Modric getting ready to come on. We'll just wait and see who he's going to replace. Yeah,
we will wait and see. Could potentially be forced to be Mbappe, given the discomfort he finds himself in. I have to say, I don't know what you think, Paul, but this game certainly gives shades of that Inter Milan performance at the Camp Nou, the year that they won the Champions League under Jose Mourinho in that famous treble-winning season. Yes, Arsenal might not win the game. Yes, they might not get through in particularly pretty fashion. But they've done it to a point where that's all that matters, is they're through. Granted, it's not a semi-final like that one was between Mourinho and Guardiola, but it does feel like that's been the case this evening.
No, absolutely, and I think, as I say, although the managerial rivalry perhaps isn't the same, you have to say that the sort of the young, up-and-coming sort of Mikel Arteta with his Arsenal team against the vastly experienced and multi-decorated Ancelotti and Real. It is the sort of the upstarts, almost. I mean, Arsenal aren't exactly an upstart team, but you know what I mean, compared to Madrid and the amount of European silverware they've had. It's a big moment as we're getting the horror show now of that Arsenal defensive error which led to Madrid's goal.
It is worth noting, obviously you made the point that Rice should not have bowled that out to Saliba, and on a normal occasion I'd agree with you, but you could see there David Raya wanted to bowl out to Declan Rice, and he had his hand up saying no, I don't want it. So Rice then forced the ball out to his centre half. I mean, I would say 90% of the blame there is Saliba. You cannot rest on your laurels and play like that at the Bernabeu. You can't do it.
He shouldn't have done it, but as I say, it's reducing that risk up front. I think, as I say, and particularly seeing as a couple of minutes earlier, there was that one where the ball was bowled out to Partey. He was then forced to play it to Saliba, and then Saliba lost it a couple of minutes later. But now we can confirm that Raul Asensio and Kylian Mbappe have both had to go off here, and it's Luka Modric and Brahim Diaz who are on to replace them. Yeah,
I think that's a big loss, losing Mbappe. He just needs that one moment, doesn't he? And there's an opportunity for Arsenal to be in big trouble, but I like Brahim Diaz a lot. I think he's a fantastic footballer. He played brilliantly well at the Etihad last season on Real Madrid's route to the Champions League final. Of course, eventually the trophy come the end of the season. He could be a big player for them tonight, but without Mbappe. And I know he's not been brilliant tonight, but it is Mbappe.
It is, and that's going to be a big loss, the fact that he's had to go off. It obviously was a bit of an awkward fall when he got tangled there with Declan Rice. Madrid now go forward here with Bellingham just at the edge of the area. Yeah,
Bellingham 20 yards out, tries to feed Fran Garcia on the near side, but it's intercepted well by Saka, who does brilliantly well to win a goal kick in the process. That's excellent play from Bukayo Saka, who the last 15 minutes, it's going to be all hands on deck defending for their lives at the minute.
Absolutely, everyone's going to have to defend for Arsenal here as Arteta now looks over towards his bench. He's calling over somebody. It's worth noting that we're 76 minutes into this game and Arsenal haven't made a single change yet.
Well, they haven't needed to, have they, to be fair to them? And if you look at the bench that they've got, there's not necessarily a huge number of players who you're going to seal us this win.
Trossard is the first one
but
to come on,
that is an interesting one. Are they making this change now, or is David Raya going to take this goal kick first? They are going to make this change. Bukayo Saka's going to leave the field of play. I mean, he's had such a topsy-turvy game tonight, hasn't he? He's going to be replaced by Leandro Trossard, who has had a topsy-turvy season. That's a really interesting change from Arteta.
It is. I mean, it may well be that Saka, of course, has had injury problems this season. Maybe they don't want him doing a full 90. Maybe because there is going to be some more tracking back. They want Trossard just to be able to be that little bit more mobile down that flank and get back and help in defence. Because it's a lot more important here for us now to make sure they're frustrating the Madrid players here who are going to be doing everything they can to try and win this ball back as quickly as possible.
Yeah, they certainly are. But Arsenal will do everything they can to just slow this game down as much as possible, make things almost impossible for Real Madrid. And that first opportunity will be from this free kick, which Timber will just chip into the penalty area, headed away well by Rudiger. Follow-up ball is won by Martinelli away from Bellingham, but it will fall to Vinicius. Vinicius launches it up in the air. Endrick hits the deck far too easily, batting against Saliba. You know he's hit the deck easily when Vinicius does not support the appeal for a free kick. That's really poor from Endrick, and now Arsenal can look to come forward. It's Ødegaard inside Madrid territory. He's got Partey running short. We'll just go back to Timber. Back to Ødegaard once again, forward towards Martinelli. He's tackled well by Fran Garcia, but it will be an Arsenal throw-in on the near side. Timber looks as though he's going to take this one as he asks for his teammates to move forward. Still 2-2, by the way, at the San Siro between Inter Milan and Bayern Munich, which of course will mean that Inter will go through on aggregate in that one to face Barcelona in the semi-final. At the minute, as things stand, Arsenal will be through to face PSG in the other semi-final of the Champions League. And this is unprecedented for Real Madrid in recent years. It really is. They've not seen a failure like this since that defeat against Ajax a few years ago, as Arsenal come forward. Ødegaard's born to the box, cleared away by Valverde, falls to Partey. His shot is blocked, and Real Madrid can get it clear once again. Bellingham looking for Endrick. Kivior steps in brilliantly and wins it back and plays a lovely ball down the line, looking for Timber. And Timber's got through the tackle from Garcia and skips away from Rudiger, but the German gets a crucial touch on the ball, and Real Madrid can look to get it clear through Jude Bellingham. Crucial defending from Rudiger, but excellent play from Jurrien Timber and Jakub Kivior.
Great play there. I mean, it was so close to Timber actually getting away from Rudiger. I was like you, when Rudiger initially flicked that, I actually thought it was still going to land at the feet of Jurrien Timber. But Rudiger, the experienced defender, was able to get it away. And Arsenal have to be careful because here comes Vinicius Jr.
Vinicius cuts in on his right-hand side, skips away from Timber. Has he gone down too easily? No, he hasn't, says the referee. It will be a free kick just outside the 18-yard box. I wouldn't say it's a shooting opportunity given the angle. I'll be interested to see how much contact there was from Jurrien Timber. It's hard to tell from that angle, but it doesn't look like much.
It's almost like he's left a trap there for Vinicius and he's just gone over. I mean, there's not much intent there from Timber, I don't think, but it's one of those where the referee can't not give it just because if there was contact, he's going to say that it was. I mean, it's very close to the edge of the area. That may actually put off Luka Modric because you've got to be very good in terms of getting the ball up and down. And as you said, because it's quite a tight angle right on the sort of left-hand edge of the penalty area as Madrid look. Might be quite difficult to get a shot away as Raya's desperately trying to organise his wall.
39 years of age, the Croatian midfielder, 4 goals and 7 assists in 48 games played this season for Real Madrid. Can he dig something out of the hat this time? Lays off to Valverde, whose shot is blocked brilliantly by Declan Rice, who over the 2 legs has been phenomenal for Arsenal. They've got about 10 minutes left to go of normal time, have the Gunners, to not concede 3 goals, which sounds crazy to say out loud. Well, of course they shouldn't concede 3 goals in 10 minutes, but this is Real Madrid. You still don't know what is going to happen in this game. Vinicius, ball to the box, isn't a bad one. Endrick driving forward. Kivior, brilliant defending once again from the Polish international. Nods it back to David Raya. He's been the better of the 2 centre-halves tonight, Jakub Kivior.
He's been more solid, hasn't he? He's made fewer mistakes, and he gets underneath this one and just marshals that.
Quality.
First header just to take the pressure off. Second header just to go back towards David Raya. Excellent play there. But Arsenal, again, they wanted to play out from the back. They just about get away with it this time. That's really good play there from Lewis Skelly.
Yeah, brilliant from the young England international, who's still going through midfield, is eventually brought down. The referee plays advantage after the tackle came in from Tchouameni. Forward come Arsenal down the left. Trossard, ball to the middle, finds Martinelli. Odegaard's on the right-hand side. The former Real Madrid man inside the penalty area, on his left foot to kill the tie. Oh, he's put it wide. And he's put it wide by a distance as well. That would have won it for Arsenal.
It's not a good effort. It's almost like he was never confident in himself there, Odegaard, which is unbelievable when you think just how good he is on his left foot. Seems like it's the perfect area for him, just cutting in from the right on his left. Bit of a swivel and just curling it into the bottom corner, but there's not that much conviction in the shot in the end.
No, there isn't. It's not a great effort from Martin Odegaard, but crucially, the ball is down the other end of the field for Real Madrid. It kills more time for the Gunners. And that will worry Los Blancos and Carlo Ancelotti more than anything at the minute, because the scoreline is not happy reading for the Champions League champions. As forward comes Luka Modric, stepping towards Arsenal territory, plays it forward to Ceballos. Back to Modric once again. Now down the line for Bellingham. In fact, no, it's Valverde. And Valverde will drive. Ball into the middle for Ceballos. Edge of the penalty area now for Bellingham. Bellingham finds Modric. Modric steps towards the corner of the penalty area. Ball to find Bellingham. Is intercepted brilliantly by Lewis Skelly. And Arsenal can kill more time by bringing the ball forward. And in fact, Lewis Skelly's done more than that. He's played a brilliant counter-attacking ball to Leandro Trossard. Held up well by Tchouameni. But the Belgian international just slows the play down. Has set Arsenal up brilliantly just to hold on to possession. I have to say, again, it sounds daft to count Real Madrid out at this stage of the game. I'd eat my words, because they've lost the ball of Arsenal, and forward come Real Madrid. Endrick finds Vinicius. Vinicius with the shot towards goal. What a tackle from William Saliba. He's made up from his mistake earlier. Out of play for a goal kick. Brilliant play from Arsenal.
Controversial there. As far as Madrid are concerned, they felt that should have been a corner, but after Arsenal lost the ball in midfield, it was a quick counter-attack, and as we see, Vinicius Jr.
Right decision. I think it's the right decision.
Is it a double kiss back onto Vinicius? It possibly was.
Yeah, it's a really good play from Saliba, who, like I said, has made up from his mistake that gave that man who was just tackled a goal to give Madrid a lifeline, but they've not held on to that lifeline. There is less than 8 minutes to go in this one, and it is looking doom and gloom for the Champions League champions from last season. But that's terrible from Saliba. He's flicked it up into the air. Vinicius has won the loose ball back. Forward come Madrid. Vinicius, left-hand side tackle comes in from Saliba. Out of play for a corner on the near side. I get that he's called a quote-unquote Rolls-Royce centre-half, but you can't switch off, and that's twice now he's done it.
I mean, he's just lobbed the ball up in the air with Vinicius Jr. stood just behind him. He's inviting the attack, and we've got 7 minutes plus potentially around 3 or 4 of injury time still to play. Arsenal just inviting this corner kick now from Modric. A goal now gives Madrid the hope. Modric, short to Vinicius. Vinicius one-on-one with Martinelli. Right-footed straight towards goal. It's blocked well by Martinelli. It will fall to Fran Garcia. Moves on to the left for Modric. Thought about the left-footed ball. Instead goes short to Vinicius. Vinicius trying to get away from Martinelli. Left-footed ball to the box. It's not a bad one. Header away by Lewis Skelly. Ceballos lost it back towards the far post. Martinelli will get a touch, but it will still find its way to Vinicius Jr. But the offside flag has gone up, and that will be another 30 seconds killed for Arsenal. What's Ceballos doing? He's got 4 or 5 players in the middle of the penalty area. He goes for a lofty ball to Vinicius Jr., who's standing right on the edge of the area on the left-hand side, with Ceballos stood on the right. It's a bizarre decision from him for him to put that ball where he is. Yep, but remember, Paul, Carlo Ancelotti said he would be the spark of the comeback, so if something is going to happen, surely. The Italian man knows what he's on about, doesn't he? As Vazquez, the camera pans to him, he will be gutted, because
He's captaining this Real Madrid side, and he's been phenomenal for Real Madrid this season, but he wasn't good tonight, as there's a yellow card been handed out to Dani Ceballos, and then also now to Thomas Partey as well.
Partey done that? Partey's going to miss the next game for Arsenal now.
And he's probably been the Gunners' best player this evening. I'm not quite sure what's happened. We'll need to see a replay. The camera was focusing on the referee, who was handing out a first yellow card, I believe, to Dani Ceballos. In fact, no, it was to Antonio Rudiger, not Dani Ceballos. My apologies.
Rudiger will miss the next game if Madrid get through this one, but I think it's the way in which Partey's reacted to Rudiger's challenge, and unfortunately Partey has been drawn in, and he will miss the next game if Arsenal get through. I mean, it's a cynical one from Rudiger because
he's headbutted Marino, hasn't he?
Yeah, so it's sort of accidentally on purpose there from Antonio Rudiger.
Oh, that's not good to see at all.
It's not pleasant at all, as you say, but Thomas Partey, I mean, the referee had given the yellow card. Partey shouldn't have reacted in the way that he did.
No, he shouldn't. He certainly shouldn't have done. I have to say, that tackle from Rudiger there, I don't like to accuse players of things. That was a tackle of somebody who knows that they're going out, so he could try and hurt someone, and I didn't like that from Antonio Rudiger at all. Either way, play continues with Madrid in possession with the German centre-half going back to Thibaut Courtois. Moves it on to the right-hand side now for Aurelien Tchouameni, who now finds himself in a centre-back position in that Real Madrid back four. Valverde, who's now at right-back, plays it inside to Ceballos. Ceballos will look to try and play the ball in behind, looking towards Endrick. It's headed away well by Lewis Skellingham. Madrid have got to restart on the far side. Tell you a name that we've not mentioned in a good while, Paul. Jude Bellingham. I don't think he's touched the ball for the last 10 minutes.
No, he hasn't.
And he's looked dejected in those 10 minutes as well.
Not a good sign for a centre midfielder who's not seeing a lot of the ball, but a side pushing forward again here with Vinicius Junior, who is stopped at the edge of the area. It's just not going well here for Bellingham this evening. As you said, he's had one of those anonymous matches, unfortunately.
Yeah, he certainly has. As forward come Real Madrid once again. Modric, left-hand side. Fran Garcia, left-footed ball into the box. It's dealt with well by Thomas Partey, and Arsenal will get it hoofed clear by Jurrien Timber. Really great play once again from Arsenal, defending for their lives, but they don't look like they're on a knife edge. They look comfortable in defending. They look like they enjoy defending, and that's what is important at this stage of the game. Just keep things nice and tidy. Don't be trying anything different. Just enjoy the art of defending and get the ball away from your goal. Garcia, ball into the box. It's not a bad one. Headed away well by Declan Rice. Marino with the follow-up header. Valverde, though, wins it on the edge of the penalty area. Brahim Diaz one-on-one with Lewis Skelly. Thought about the right-footed ball, then cuts onto his left, lays off to Valverde. Valverde needs to get the ball to the box, lays it off to Brahim Diaz. Diaz, edge of the penalty area, finds Ceballos. Ceballos could move it onto the left, does find Fran Garcia. Garcia, left-footed ball to the box. It's not a bad one, but again, it's headed away well. This time by Partey. Modric, though, brings it down. Feeds a substitute Garcia. Further wide for Vinicius Junior. Left-footed ball into the box. Is one of the worst you'll see all season. It's along the floor. It's straight to the hands of David Raya, and that will kill another 30 seconds.
Well, it will, but it's so disappointing. The quality of crosses this evening from Madrid has been really disappointing. I think that's something that Ancelotti will have to look back on later in the evening and just say that his side have had enough possession to actually hurt Arsenal, but you've just not been good enough to do it.
No, they certainly haven't. This has been a Real Madrid side that I don't say we've gotten used to seeing this season, but this is almost as bad as they played at Anfield when they lost 2-0 to Liverpool, and they were appalling that evening. They've not been far off that tonight, it has to be said. We're not seeing that famous eyebrow raise from Carlo Ancelotti. Instead, we're seeing a lip bite of almost desperation from the Italian manager. He looks bewildered.
He does. No, I think he was expecting more from his players. I don't think this. I mean, although we've mentioned players like Bellingham have been off it, and potentially a couple of other players, and Mbappe couldn't get into the game early on. But I don't think it's so much that. I just think it's that overall, as an 11, Madrid just haven't been at the races this evening. For a team that needed to make up a 3-goal deficit, they haven't looked like a team that needed to make up a 3-goal deficit for long periods. But Bellingham has done well to win the ball back there.
He has, and he finds Vinicius on the left-hand side. Left-footed ball to the box is blocked well by Jurrien Timber, and out of play for a corner on the near side. This is what you'd say this is what happens when you open your mouth and you speak too much about these events coming into it, and it's backfired for Madrid. I'll bring Paul in a second. Ball to the box from Brahim Diaz is a poor one, headed away well, but Garcia will recycle it. Finds Modric onto the right hand side for Ceballos. Back to Modric once again. Madrid going from side to side. Garcia Can he get the ball to the box? He can. It's not a bad ball, but it's away from Endrick and it's headed away. And Rice will gather it in midfield and feeds Trossard on the left. All the Belgians got to do is get it cleared. No, he gives it away to Ceballos. Poor from Trossard. Forward come Real Madrid. Brahim Diaz inside of Peltier. Can he get a shot off? No. Trying to take it around Marino. Shot towards goal at the near post. It's saved well by David Raya. And it's comfortably dealt with in the end by Arsenal. But if you look back on famous comebacks, the remontada from Barcelona, the 4-0 victory for Liverpool after the first leg 3-0 defeat, there was nothing said in the media about we're going to do this, we're going to make it difficult. All we've heard is remontada, all we've heard is this. There was nothing said from Real Madrid. It's been all talk all week, and they failed to deliver to their fans at the Bernabeu.
Absolutely. They basically wanted to talk Arsenal out of the game. They wanted to make it seem as though Arsenal are going to be so scared of coming to the Bernabeu that they'll almost just collapse in front of Madrid, and Madrid will roll them over. Well, that hasn't been the case at all. Madrid haven't been good enough, and Arsenal have been very good. But here come Madrid again.
Yeah, Vinicius, left-hand side, right-footed ball into the box. It's not a bad one. Endrick with the strike. Oh, he's put it wide. That was a chance. With 5 minutes held up by the fourth official, that was the chance. And he has put that so far wide, the young Brazilian. It's an absolute nightmare for Endrick, and it's a lifesaver for Arsenal.
Oh, it is. I mean, if that goes in, it's still a lot of work for Madrid today. They still need to score another 2 goals. But with those 5 minutes up and the crowd awake and everything else, that would have given Madrid half a chance. But that effort from Endrick, he goes screaming past the post and away for a goal kick.
18 years of age. It's a lot of pressure to put on some young shoulders, but he's not delivered tonight. Team who have delivered tonight, Inter Milan. They've drawn 2-2 with Bayern Munich at the San Siro, so they will progress to face Barcelona in the semi-final of the Champions League. It's worth remembering they were in the final not too long ago against Manchester City, and they fell painfully short that night in Istanbul. They've got a chance to redeem that, but they had to get through Barcelona in the semi-final. As forward come Arsenal, driving forward to well and truly kill the game off if it is already. Trossard, ball into the box, is blocked well, and Real Madrid can come forward on the counter-attack. It's Endrick, deep inside his own half, driving forward. He's got Thomas Partey in front of him, he's got Brahim Diaz on the right, he's got Vinicius on the left, feeds Modric inside the centre circle, he's got Fran Garcia on the left-hand side instead, feeds Vinicius. Vinicius runs straight into the trouble, and Partey will gather the ball and leaves it for Timber, and Arsenal will just come forward, and they will kill the dying minutes of this game. Timber moves onto the right-hand side for Partey. Partey, has he got the legs to get away from Modric? No, but he feeds Erdogan, edge of the penalty area, the former Madrista to go for goal is saved by Courtois, not once but twice, and it's dealt with, and Real Madrid escape again. Similarly though, in the first leg, Arsenal have had chances to score even more goals than they have done.
They have. I mean, that was a good effort from Odegaard with his weaker right foot. Needed to bite to that one, did Courtois, to make sure it stays in. There's another substitution being ready for Arsenal just to try and kill a few seconds here in defence. We can see Kieran Tierney is ready to come on. Whether or not he gets a minute or two, wait to see. But Madrid are now trying to push forward again here. It's just too little too late for Madrid. They are now getting Arsenal on the ropes. They are now looking a little bit more dangerous in terms of just having chance after chance. But it's at a stage of the game where it's just too late. But they've got another ball coming in here, but it's a good header away from Kivior.
Great play from the Polish centre-half. And now Arsenal can come forward once again. Martinelli, who's made a run in behind. One-on-one with Garcia. Can he get away from the Spaniard? He can to win the game. He's done it! It's brilliant from Gabriel Martinelli. He's won it for Arsenal. He's won it at the Bernabeu. He's sealed the tie for the Gunners. They will face PSG in the semi-final of the Champions League. It's one of the greatest nights in Arsenal history. Madrid have faltered yet again in the Champions League. But it is Arsenal that will go through to the semi-finals. And it's Gabriel Martinelli with the strike.
It's a fabulous goal from Martinelli because it's just he keeps his composure, something that most attacking players haven't done this evening, in fairness. They've struggled to keep their composure, but on this occasion Arsenal take advantage of the fact that Madrid was sending so many players forward. The ball's into the box, strong header away by Kivior, and then all of a sudden it just opens up for Arsenal. They look up to see where everybody is, and you can see that as Martinelli moves forward, he's still in his own half when the pass is made, so he can't be offside. I would say this though, Martinelli is quick, but Fran Garcia, he's not even jogging there. He's given up there. He could have done more to try and stop Martinelli there.
He certainly could have done, bearing in mind he's a substitute, and Martinelli has now played well over 90 minutes in this one. But spare a penny for the thoughts of the two managers. Mikel Arteta, there's not a happier man in the Bernabeu tonight. Carlo Ancelotti must think, this is probably the last Champions League game he'll ever manage for Real Madrid. This could be it done and dusted for the Italian manager. look at the face of the Real Madrid players. They're shell-shocked. They can't believe it. They came in. They had convinced themselves this evening that they were, this week, that they were going to win this game by 4 goals. They were going to go through and face PSG in the semi-finals. In the end, they've been appalling. They're going to lose this game. They're not just going to stumble and not win by enough. They're going to lose at the Bernabeu, which they never do in the Champions League.
They never do that, no. I mean, they're losing 5-1 to Arsenal on aggregate as well, which is a two-legged score. I don't think many people, even the most positive of Arsenal fans, would have predicted that before the first leg last week. But some changes here later on. The goal scorer, Martinelli, has just gone off. He's been replaced by Kieran Tierney. We've just seen another change in defence here. It looks like Ben White has come on. And it looks like Oleg Zinchenko will be coming on here for Declan Rice as well. But this is all just to kill time, really. We've only got a few seconds of the added time still to play. And even if the referee wants to add another minute or two, well, why bother? It's not going to change who's going to win this two-legged game, is it?
Absolutely. Timber, Martinelli and Rice off. White, Tierney and Zinchenko on. Declan Rice over the 2 legs. Best player by country mile. Absolutely phenomenal tonight. And he was instrumental for that 3-0 victory at the Emirates. It's done and dusted. The game is finished. Real Madrid not only are going to lose over the 2 legs, they're going to be battered over the 2 legs. They're also going to lose at the Santiago Bernabeu. They have broken one record this evening. They have finally scored against Arsenal in European competition, but that is a 1 goal against a 5 from the side from North London. You could not have written this script, could you?
No, absolutely not. I thought Arsenal may have a chance over 2 legs, but it was only after they had that first one. But that will be it. The referee has called time, and the Madrid players furious with themselves. Arsenal players absolutely delighted. A nice embrace there between Ancelotti and Arteta. Arteta must be absolutely over the moon. His players have done it. Arsenal have done it, and they're through on aggregate by 5 goals to 1.